How you doing, everyone? I'm Dr. Brian Polachek, and a lot of people, I just want to stop and say how much I appreciate everyone who comments on my posts on Facebook, on social media, drives my questions, and I appreciate the following that I have, and I really do appreciate everyone because I'm constantly learning just like you. So we're going to go over the gut-brain connection. The vagus nerve and the gut health are how they're connected. So at the end of this lecture, at the end of this webinar, you're going to understand more about how the vagus nerve, which is a nerve in your body, we're going to go over, is connected to your gut health. And you're going to know how that's connected, things that you can do to make your gut healthier. And that's what we're going to do. So there is a gut-brain connection in the vagus nerve. And just this is not a doctor-patient relationship. I do not treat, diagnose, or manage diseases. Everyone is doing this on their own if they decide to do this. And if anyone has any concerns, they should consult with their primary care provider or MD before proceeding. So almost every health problem that you can imagine at its most basic level comes from inflammation and a reaction to toxicity. And we can include stress in that. If you make more toxicity that you can get rid of, your body either gets sick or stores it somewhere to reduce the toxic load. And the immune system ultimately causes inflammation, pain, the toxicity, sugar, bad lifestyle decisions, and stress. The three T's: trauma, toxicity, and thoughts. They all drive inflammation. So how can we talk about gut health without mentioning and discussing the nervous system? Because ultimately, our health comes from our nerves. And when people get on our nervous system gets screwed up. That's very much connected to the gut. And we're going to do two parts to the automatic or autonomic nervous system we're going to go over today. Sympathetic, which is fight flight, that's emergency, high blood pressure, all your blood goes to your arms and legs to fight or defend. So if all the blood's in your arms and your legs, how can it digest food in your gut? It can't. And that's where the problem starts, is that your body can't be in both modes at the same time. It's either in fight flight or it's in parasympathetic, which is rest and digest. It can't be in both modes at the same time. So parasympathetic is your rest and digest. That's your healing, that's your repairing, that's your digestion, that's your immune system, that's your reproductive system. Those are what should be on 98% of the time. And the 2%, when you need to flee or get out of a dangerous situation, that's when you are supposed to be in sympathetic. Here's the problem. That worked well when there was dinosaurs and animals that were trying to take us out all the time, and we had to be alert, we had to be aware. But nowadays, that we don't have that threat necessarily. Well, it depends where you live, but we don't have that threat where we feel like we're going to get eaten by a big creature every day. We have stress. Some of it's imagined, some of it's real. We look at threats like economy, money, relationships, our balance in our life, our children, money, our relationships within our family, our diets, exercise. Some people can exercise too much, and that causes stress on the nervous system as well. So it could get us out of fight flight. Too much working out could put us into fight flight. Too much toxicity, working in a place that's toxic. You got mold, and you got radon, and you've got viruses and funguses and bacteria. We're going to go over that more. But here's the nervous system. You've got nerves that go down your arms from up in your neck. You got nerves that go down your legs, and all these nerves communicate and talk to the body. So basically, the nervous system is a giant communication system. Your body's telling your brain what's going on, and your brain's making decisions based on that information. Now, here's where chiropractic comes in. If something is out of place in your spine and it's putting pressure on the nerves that it's supposed to protect, what happens is it screws up communication. So now your body is not talking to itself. So chiropractic, I can never talk about health or gut health or anything without going into the nervous system. And chiropractic is one of the best ways, is the best way to balance out the nervous system. And a lot of times people's problems improve dramatically by going to a chiropractor who knows how to balance the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system who has a strategy to do that versus the stack and crack techniques, which is get you on a table, do the same thing every time. We don't do that. We do different strategies. We even do cranial bones. We do energy work. Energy work is not covered under insurance. It's about, $100 per session to do. We do kinesiology. We dive into the mind-body connection. And a lot of times emotions run the show. Our bodies, your brain doesn't know the difference between reality and imagination. A lot of people's problems is their bodies are run by memory. So the brain up in here, let me see if I can move this. Yeah, your brain up in here communicates to the rest of your body. And the green nerves, here's the vagus nerve up here from the neck. And then you have the nerves from the sacrum that are your parasympathetic. Your yellow ones are your fight flight. So when these get activated, the gut shuts off. When these get activated up in here, it relaxes, it slows down your heart. It vasodilates all your arteries. So there's more blood flow to your organs in your sternal area, in your upper body, not the extremities. That's where all your essential organs are. It opens up the lungs. You breathe easier. It helps make more stomach acid. So parasympathetic helps with digestion. Your stomach is a sanitation chamber. It kills viruses and bacteria that come in. Half the problem with parasites and gut problems is that people drink too much water, seltzer water. They're on antacids. It's even though they have acid reflux problems, it's shutting off your defense mechanism for killing viruses, bacteria, mold, things that come in through your food. Your stomach's supposed to be strong enough to kill this stuff. And what happens is over time, with NSAIDs, with antacids, with drinking too much water while we're eating, all of these things can weaken the stomach acid and allow things into our body that shouldn't belong there. Then they go into this system, into the liver, the small intestines, which are to break down food and absorb some of the nutrients. And in the large intestines, there's a lot of bacteria that should be there. Most of the bacteria in your body and your gut should be in your large intestine to break down the food. What Cybo is, a small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, is that some of the bacteria from the large intestine gets into the small intestine where it doesn't belong, and it starts to wreak havoc on the small intestinal area. So the vagus nerve comes from the upper neck and all the way down, and when that nerve's on, it relaxes the gut. It tells the gut to do its job. Let's say there's foreign stuff, parasites, toxins, you got leaky gut, IBS, dysbiosis, just to name a few. What happens is it acts like a threat. It shuts off the vagus nerve and the body goes into fight flight. And now what happens? You get an overimmune response. You get inflammation in your gut. Your immune system tries to attack these parasites through the gut walls, which causes swelling in the gut. The gut doesn't work properly. Then the body goes into a fight flight mode, which means now it's not in rest and digest mode. And then you can see why 60% of all doctors' visits and primary care provider visits are due to gut problems. And so many people have gut problems. And your gut's very much connected to your brain. Because as we see in this chart, and here's that vagus nerve, is that, when your body's in a fight flight mode, it can't heal. And what a lot of people don't know is that 50% of your dopamine and up to 90 to 95% of your serotonin is made in your gut. The gut bacteria convert amino acids, especially 5-hydroxytryptophan or L-tryptophan, is the precursor to making dopamine and serotonin. So you could see that the vagus nerve has a lot to do with mood. And when the gut's a mess, those bacteria can't convert amino acids into chemicals that make our brain happy. And a lot of people don't know this, but serotonin, you got 5-hydroxytryptophan or L-tryptophan turns into serotonin, and then serotonin turns into melatonin. You cannot make the chemicals that make you sleep well if you have too much light. That's why I have these light canceling glasses. Or if your gut's not converting the serotonin to melatonin and you're not making enough serotonin, you're not making enough melatonin. So many people suffer with sleep problems. They can't fall asleep, they can't stay asleep, and then their gut's a mess. And then the vagus nerve, which is your rest and digest nerve, doesn't work or gets shut off when your gut's a mess. And this is what causes the main problem. So IBS, that's abdominal pain, irritable bowel syndrome. Leaky gut, dysbiosis. What makes the gut toxic? Medications, NSAIDs, antibiotics in food is also in taken. If you've ever had Lyme disease, if you've ever been on antibiotics, a lot of it's in the water sources. They can't, in water filtration plants, unless you have a well, they can't get rid of all the medications that are in there. They don't have filters that are small enough. I was just talking to a guy the other night on a date night. He was an environmental engineer, and he said they can't get rid of it. They can detect stuff in the water way before it even outbreaks happen. But they can't get rid of the medications in the water. So those recycle, not in huge amounts, but they do recycle. And then we take showers, we drink it, we cook with this water. It gets into our system. We have the use of Roundup or glyphosate, which is it's herbicides and pesticides that they spray on crops. Those go into the plants. That's where genetic modification of plants started, because when you put these chemicals, herbicides, and pesticides, and I understand why they have to do it, but it kills a lot of the plants as well. So they started genetically modifying plants, especially wheat and corn, to make them resistant to these herbicides and pesticides. So now you can spray over them and it doesn't kill the plants. But what happens? Those chemicals get into those plants. We eat those plants. The herbicides and pesticides get into our gut. And what ends up happening is it wrecks the bacteria in our gut and it screws up our microbiome. The microbiome, again, is for balance of happiness. It helps with your immune system. You got other things like artificial sweeteners, soda pop, lectins, which are plant proteins. And lectins are in almost everything, but especially in nightshades, especially in grains, especially in wheat and whole grains. And this is another problem, is that these are like razor sharp proteins that rub against our walls. And I'm going to go over a slide shortly, but your gut walls have a single layer of cells in them. We have to have a thin layer in the intestines to absorb nutrients. What happens when these little proteins that have razor sharp things rub against our intestines? They irritate the gut. They cause leaky gut, IBS problems, and they irritate the gut. Oxalates are in spinach and kale and other greens. Food has to be handled, cooked properly. There's ways to get these lectins and oxalates and reduce them, but it's a hidden source of a lot of people's chronic pain, fatigue and tiredness, feeling crappy all the time, low mood, brain, brain fog. These affect a lot of things, including depression and anxiety and aches and pains all over the place. And of course, over-the-counter drugs or prescribed medication is a big problem. Chemicals, emotional stress, how healthy your nervous system and adaptable it is can affect a lot of these things. And the total toxic exposure. You got physical injury, inflammation, too much exercise, preservatives and additives in nutrition, alcohol, trans fatty acids from fried food, chemical, xenobiotics and organics. Then you got infection, endotoxins, and exotoxins, bacteria, fungal, viral, parasitic. This is what adds to your total toxic exposure. Now, what are some of the things you can do to balance out optimize the immune system and the digestive system? Well, if we want to optimize the immune system and the digestive system, we need to start working on things we can do to help the vagus nerve. Number one, there's polyvagal theory, which means the many theories of how the vagus nerve works. What are some of the things that we can do to make the vagus nerve happy, which makes our parasympathetic nervous system happy? Number one, chiropractic care, especially upper cervical. We do toggles. We do little adjusting devices for people that don't like hard adjusting. And it's a balance. When you get that upper neck right and you get your sacral lower back area, that is your parasympathetic. That's where the body starts to balance. Number two, like 11 things you can do at home for vagus nerve stimulation. Breathing exercises, 4-step breathing, breathing in, holding, breathe out, hold out, 2, 3, 4, breathe in. Some people vary on how long they can pause, but paused breathing, you breathe in, you hold it for 4 seconds, you breathe out, hold it for a couple seconds, and breathe in and breathe slower. And what that forces you to do is it forces a vagus nerve stimulation. Meditation, putting ourselves into a relaxed state, is good for the vagus nerve. Exercise, movement is good, too much is not. Long distance running, too much intense exercises is not good for the vagus nerve. That doesn't mean it's not good every once in a while for us. We need exercise, no doubt about it. Some people do way too much exercise and it's causing them a lot of lactic acid and stress problems. Yoga, moving meditation is yoga. I have a podcast called Healthy Wealthy. That's why I've interviewed some yoga studio owners on how yoga is more like a moving meditation when done properly versus just another form of exercise. Omega-3 rich diet, higher fat diets are very good for the vagus nerve. They help the parasympathetic nervous system. Probiotics and a probiotic rich diet, including fermented vegetables, including kombucha, kefir, sauerkraut, making coleslaw with apple cider vinegar. There's a lot of things you can do to enhance your vagus nerve and make it happy. Singing and chanting, your vagus nerve goes through your throat. Splashing your face with cold water. I'm not going to get into that too much, but cold water, getting into cold water is very good for your nervous system in little dosage. If you don't like to do that, there's ways to do that. I have a 12-week signature health program called the Healthy Me program. We go over biohacking and all these things in there. I don't have time to go over this here. Hugging, being connected to people. You should always hug heart to heart. Left side, my dad told me that. My dad taught me that, where a lot of people hug heart to heart. Left side, heart to heart, connected. Massages, the human touch, human hand, and fasting, longer fasting and intermittent fasting, parasympathetic. Improve gut health, HIIT exercises occasionally to reduce adrenaline. Your connection between your gut and your immune system, so important. So detox and gut clearing doesn't let the bad bacteria in. When you clean out the gut, you detox, getting rid of parasites, parasite removal. I have a parasite removal video that's free, just like this one. If you're interested, that's on YouTube. You go into Dr. Brian M. Polachek and you'll find the parasite removal. And I'm going to put this up in that area too, so people can watch the replays. What does intermittent fasting do? Improves the microbiome. When you have less room for germs to grow, less swelling, so the bacteria and viruses can't get into the bloodstream, reduces leaky gut. Well, we have to detox every once in a while. We have to stop feeding our gut. So eating less and eating less often and learning how to fast greatly improves the inflammation. And it's just like a garden. If your garden's full of weeds, it's going to be hard to grow anything healthy in there. If your gut is full of bad bacteria from a lot of the things that I had mentioned earlier, it's going to be hard for the probiotics to work, and they're pretty much a waste if you're not willing to get rid of the bad stuff. So here is a slide that shows proper absorption. So here's your basement membrane. Here's your capillary in your intestine. We're not going to go into all of this, but basically these larger molecules are the bacteria, the viruses, the funguses, the stuff that we don't want in our system. And normally with the cell in the gut, they don't allow the bad stuff in, and they only allow the absorption of nutrients into. So desmosomes bind cells together tightly, allowing only small nutrient molecules to pass between them. Leaky gut, irritation weakens desmosomes, all the lectins, inflammation, bloating, expanding on the gut from years of not taking care of ourselves and over medicating and too much antibiotics. Irritating weakens these, opening gaps between the cells and letting larger molecules as well as bacteria pass through. This is how they get into the bloodstream. And a lot of times these bacteria get in the bloodstream and they hide in organs, and our immune systems attack them. And people don't understand that, like Hashimoto's, a lot of people think that's a virus in the thyroid, and the immune system's trying to attack the virus. It's doing its job. And people they can't understand why there's so many autoimmune problems, is because there's so much genetically modified food, fake food, I call it. There is leaky gut, IBS. These viruses and funguses get into our bloodstream through the gut, and then they try to hide in places because they don't want to get eaten either. Nothing on this planet wants to get eaten. Plants don't even want to get eaten. We won't even go into that right now. But the leaky gut allows these larger viruses and bacteria into our system, weakens our immune system, overreacts. Our immune system has to react to these things. That's where a lot of the chronic pain, inflammation, weakness, fatigue and tiredness, brain fog, all these other things start to come from. So in the intestinal lining, the mucosal layer of a healthy gut filters out microorganisms and non-digested proteins, which are then passed to the colon. Villi, protrusions in the mucosal layer are covered by a barrier made of a row of cells. Nutrients enter the bloodstream through capillaries at the base of the cell. This is what happens, is that these walls get damaged with lectins, with overuse of medications, and now the mucosal layer gets affected. The cell, your body can't absorb nutrients properly. So when people's guts are a mess and they get damaged, you can't absorb the nutrients. It's harder to get rid of the toxins. It's a breeding ground for these viruses and bacteria and things that don't belong there, parasites. And then it gets into the bloodstream, cause problems. Now, what are lectins and how do they mess up your gut? Lectins are proteins that are found in all food, but high in nightshades, including eggplant, tomatoes, and peppers, grains, lentils. They're sharp, tear the single layer gut walls, causing little holes that bacteria, virus, and fungus can go through and get into the bloodstream. And you wonder why 60% of all primary care provider visits are due to gut issues. H. pylori, what else do I help people with? So what's the solution? We have to get rid of the bad stuff. We have to live a lifestyle of less stress, not get triggered by everything around us. Chiropractic, meditation, learning to relax, shut off the news. We can't control a lot of the stuff that's going on in the world. That is one of the key components to dealing with these problems. So you got H. pylori, heavy metal detox, mold, candida overgrowth. I also use kinesiology testing, which is better than muscle testing, to ask the body what you need. It's like connecting, getting information from the mind-body connection. We use these techniques. I've learned them. Me and my dad are going to another seminar in October in Philadelphia, where we're going to just get touched up on this. But it's even better than muscle testing because some people are too strong. The muscle testing, the finger testing, you have to ask the body, and there's ways for doctors to talk to the body through kinesiology. Now, these sessions at my office are $125 per session. I will take $25 off of that if you buy products from me. So what are some of the solutions here? How do we get rid of the bad stuff? Well, there's a company called Biotics Research. I work with them. I've worked with them for the last 15 years. They have different products. This is the SBO kit. This is a microbial, intense gut microbial support. It has 3 signature products from them. I have pamphlets as well, if anyone wants to come by the office and take a look at those. But the kit has 3 herbal formulas included in it. ADP is one of them. That's emulsified oil of oregano and it's time released. See, the bacteria in our guts and viruses and fungus, they're smart. They don't hang out right after the stomach. Why? Because the stomach has acid, which is supposed to kill them. They hang out where the small and large intestine meet because that's further down. Whereas if you had oregano and you ate it, or you took oregano oil, it would get to the top part of the small intestines. It would get absorbed. It wouldn't get down to the lower part of the small intestine where the appendix is, in that area, which then leads into, and the food goes into the next stage, which is the colon, or the ascending, transverse, descending, and sigmoid colon, or the large intestine as it's otherwise known as. And they're smart. So this company has made time-release products that go throughout the intestine, so they don't just go to the upper half of the digestive tract, they go to the lower half. That's what ADP is. Now, it's as one of the most effective products for bacteria, fungi, and amoeba in the biotics line when used properly. FC Cytal is another one. It's a powerful adjunct to the oregano oil and ADP to help with stubborn yeast forms and bacteria. And dysbiosis. Dysbiosis is when the percentage of good bacteria get taken over by the percentage of bad bacteria. It's dysbiosis means there's an imbalance in your gut, and they made a product just for that. It has a number of potent herbs that work synergistically with ADP and FC Cytal to provide comprehensive support for gut healthy microbiota. And it provides an intense gut health support. It supports healthy microbial balance, assists with digestion. It's got an easy to follow guidebook, which gives you some things on diet, understanding microbial balance. What are some of the symptoms of people who have imbalance? Bloating after eating, abdominal discomfort, diarrhea or constipation, unexplained weight loss, nausea and vomiting, excessive gas or bloating, malnutrition, which means you're not absorbing your foods, even if you're eating healthy, joint pain, skin rashes, headaches, dark spots around your eyes. The list goes on and on. We have these intense little handouts to show people. I also have, Cybo, which is each of these products, I have handouts that I can give to people. I have data on all these products. They've been very effective. They just came out with this kit. They used to sell them all individually and there were more money. They didn't come with the instructions and the support packet. These do. These are all set up to go. And how much do these go? These go for $160. They can be drop shipped to where you live if you need to. If you want the link, let me know. The link is right here. Healthy Wealthy That's Why.estorerx.com. I'm also a distributor for Cellcore. It's a carbon-based binding, parasite, and toxin removal of the gut. They have these different protocols. I will show you in a second there. If you need to dive deeper, I also have the one-on-ones, $125 per session to keep set up protocols, go over your individual problems. One-on-one, you could ask me anything. We could do this through Zoom. We could do this in person. And I will take the $25 off of that price if you buy products from me. And they can be drop shipped. We can get on Zoom meetings. I also have a podcast, Healthy Wealthy That's Why, on Apple and Spotify. I've had interviews on people. We're going to put more stuff in there. I have a page called Healthy Wealthy That's Why. There's a free group in there called The Unfair Advantage, the free Healthy Me community. There's plenty of ways we do periodic free challenges in there. So I have a lot of stuff for people. So let's go over to here. Here's a little bit more about this Cybo Kit. You can read up on this, but yeah, I just went over all these, the signs of suboptimal microbial balance. This helps to get, it has things like French tarragon, oregano, stinging nettle, Indian tinospora, horsetail, olive, thyme, paudiarco, dill, wormwood, stomona. The combination of Eastern, Western herbs provides synergistic, comprehensive support for your gut. And the benefits is supports microbial balance, gets rid of the bad stuff. Then you follow it up with a probiotic. So the kit's $160. The pre and probiotics that I recommend, which have 7 probiotics, 3 prebiotics, which help to multiply those bacteria when it hits your gut, provides intensive gut health support, supports microbial balance, optimizes digestion, combines a gentle yet potent herbal blend. It's convenient. It's got an easy to follow guideline. And that's what comes into it. It's got a guidebook, diet, what to eat. Now, if you needed to dive a little bit deeper, I work with a company called Cellcore. They are a carbon-based company. We can dive deeper. They're more expensive. They're $200 to $300 for each step, depending on what you need. I can do kinesiological testing to find out what you need, what you don't need. We can ask your body. Sometimes these detoxes have to be slowed down a bit and spread out because you might be so toxic that when you start getting rid of stuff, you get side effects. Like you feel like you're nauseous, you feel like you got headaches because these are releasing toxins. You got to drink a lot of water with them. Anyone that buys any of these kits can always reach out to me with any problems that they have, or if you're not sure, you can reach out to your primary care provider. They might not know a lot about it. There are so many people with gut problems that are just completely lost. They've had them for 20, 25 years. They got diarrhea. They've had H. pylori. A lot of people have been on Lyme protocols to get rid of the Lyme disease with antibiotics. It's wiped out their gut. And now this gut is wreaking havoc on their whole life, their immune system. Although, again, chiropractors and the kind of practice that I run, we do not treat anything. We do not treat diagnosed diseases. But when you get healthy, autoimmune problems have been known to get better. Chronic inflammation problems have been known to get better. Metabolic syndrome, non-alcoholic fatty liver. So they have a roadmap to health for detoxification. Their phase 1 is energy and drainage, repairing your mitochondria and getting drainage and detoxing these at the cellular level. Phase 2 is gut and immune support, getting the gut cleaned out. Phase 3 is a cellular detox, which is like a whole body, helps immune support. Phase 4 is systemic detox, and phase 5 is a deeper immune support. I have questionnaires from this company that we can go over: heavy metal toxicity, candida, mold protocols, parasite questionnaire to find out if you have, and depending on how you score on these, we can determine what kind of products are needed, and we can do this one-on-one. I'm a support. I have an account with them, so I can get these products. They don't sell to people unless you have an account with them. I can get these products. We can set up protocols. We can do the kinesiological testing and get the right stuff done. So that is enough for there. I'm going to stop sharing that right now. I just want to say thank you, everyone, for watching this. It's simple. I try not to make things complicated. Simplicity is what gets results. Consistency over intensity. Don't do these detoxes too intensely. Be consistent with them. Do them over a period of time and have some discipline. I also have a 12-week health program that dives into all of this: gut health, cellular health, mitochondrial. We do intermittent fasting. We dive into biohacking, how to hack into your biology to optimize your body. And that's on the first half. Detox. The second half, we dive into mindset, how stress affects us, learning how to say no, learning how to forgive, learning the difference between conditional and unconditional love, how to improve every aspect of our life, the mind-body connection. That's where we work on the vagus nerve. And what keeps messing up the vagus nerve is our thoughts, how we process information, how we get triggered by everything, and how we're going to program ourselves through accountability to start balancing out our lives for the better. And so the next one's in February. We're on the 4th week of this one. Right now, they run in the close to $500 range, and that price might be going up. So there's some early bird specials available for some people if they want to jump in early. I'd love to have you do that as well. So thanks for watching so much. And if you have any questions, post them below on this YouTube or wherever this video is posted. I'm going to send these videos out individually. And let me see how long this video, I can't tell, but I'm going to end it right there. I thank you so much for watching. And again, if you have questions, reach out if they're more of a personal matter, or if you want to sign up and get one of those kits, I can have it drop shipped. I can order them for you if you're local around here. If you want to set up an appointment for Cell Core to go dive deeper, again, those are $125. You get $25 back if you buy products from me. And I'd love to be able to help you. A lot of people need this, and it could change your life. That's all I'm going to say about it. So hopefully I'll hear from you soon. Have a great day, and thank you for watching.